Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Noble Knight deck profile. So I'm super excited for this one because this deck is just an absolutely insane deck that basically plays one of the most iconic Link monsters of all time, which is Isolde, Two Tails of the Noble Knight. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon because we have some really cool rewards for you guys, like getting a signed card, getting your name and description of every single DarkArmedDuelist video, or even getting to request a deck profile every single month that you are a patron. So without further ado guys, let's get straight on into this. So I'm really excited for this one because this is actually based around the entire Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, which is really cool. And I actually made this entire deck where it's not in Platinum Rare in the main deck. I do have 2 cards in the extra deck that are Platinum Rare, but I don't have the rest of the main deck that's in Plat, so that's really cool. But nothing wrong with Platinum Rares. I just don't really care for them. I like doing the super rares and stuff. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Noble Knight Custonin. So Noble Knight Custonin has the ability to a Noble Arms equipped spell. If you control Noble Arms equipped spell, you can special summon it from your hand, and then you can only use this effect once per turn, and summon in this way. He also has the ability that an XYZ monster using him as a material gains the following effect, that if this card is special summoned, you can normal summon a Noble Knight monster during your main phase in addition to your normal summoner set. And you only use this effect once per turn. But you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except for Noble Knights this turn, which is not that big of a deal because the majority of the stuff you're going to be summoning is Noble Knights anyways. Then we play 3 copies of Noble Knight Madrot. Noble Knight Madrot's a really neat card because when it's on the field, it's treated as a normal monster, but when you equip it with a Noble Arms spell or trap, or spell card, you immediately make this card dark and increases level by 1, so it goes to 5, which is really cool. It also has the ability that you can destroy a Noble Arms card you control, and then special summon a Noble Knight monster from your deck, which is a really cool card. To be able to do that, to be able to grab the exact one that you need. But something to keep in mind is if you control 2 Noble Knight monsters, and this card destroys the Noble Arm on it, then you can just put the Noble Arms on another monster that you control, because they just re-equip onto another monster. It's like one drops the sword and one picks the sword back up. I use that kind of like as my metaphor for all the Noble Arms cards. So then we play 3 copies of Noble Knight Brothers. Noble Knight Brothers is a really good card in this deck because it's one of the big starters that you want to draw into because it can get you into your XYZ and your XYZ and your Link play at the same time, essentially, because it has the ability that you can, basically, when this card is summoned, you can only, this card can only attack if you have 3 Noble Knight monsters, which you're really never going to attack with this card. But when this card is normal summon, you can special summon up to 2 Noble Knight monsters from your hand, and then it also has a Pot of Avarice effect that'll let you target 3 Noble Knight monsters in your graveyard or Noble Arms, shuffle them into the deck, and then you draw 2, which is really good. And I have to say, if you will notice, this is like one of the biggest defense level 4 monsters in the entire game at 2400. That is humongous with that good of an effect. Then we play 2 copies of Noble Knight Gwaine. Gwaine is a really good card because if you control a light normal monster, then you can special summon this card from your hand to defense. Madrot counts as one of those, Boars counts as one of those, and we do play a couple of other ones that count as normal monsters. So this card's really easy to summon and get its special summon effect. Then I play 2 copies of, I have no idea how to pronounce this, Ivanen, I think, or Ivanen, I don't know. But you play 2 copies of him. He's kind of like the token generator. Basically what this card does is if a Noble Arms spell becomes equipped to this card, you can special summon a Noble Arms or Noble Knight token that's a level 4, 1000 attack, 1000 defense, and also you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Noble Knight monsters, which is not that big of a deal because you can use it as a material to summon your Isolde. Basically, it's a 1-card Isolde, essentially. That if you have a Noble Arms card, you can just immediately special summon a Noble Knight token. So you normal summon this, equip it with a Noble Arms, and then link it away to summon Isolde, which is really cool. Which is just an awesome effect. And then when this equip card with a Noble Arms spell card and all the Noble Knight monsters you control gain 500 attack, which is cool to increase their attack. 1 copy of Dristan. Every time Dristan's equipped with a Noble Arms card, it pops something on the field, which is really cool. I like that effect. It just targets 1 face-up card on the field. 1 copy of Boars. You only really need 1 copy of Boars nowadays. Boars, basically what it does is when it's equipped with a card, it kind of has the same effect as Madrot, except not being able to special summon from deck. You just reveal 3 Noble Arms cards in your deck, and then your opponent randomly picks 1 and you add it to your hand, but you have to destroy the Noble Arms that was equipped to it. 1 copy of Gwalchavad. I ordered this Ultimate Rare Gwalchavad, and I was like, man, I really want to play that. So I really like it as a 1-of. I've been testing it as a 1-of, and it's not, the Noble Arms or Noble Knight cards are not as expensive as they used to be. This used to be one of the most expensive decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! And this deck is not anymore. This deck you can probably get for like $100, to be honest with you. But what Gwalchavad does is it counts as a normal monster while face on the field, which is really cool with the copy of Gwaine to help you out with special summoning it. And that was something that I was running into, that I was having the 3 Madrots and like the boars, and I was like, man, I really wish I had like one more monster. So I put Gualchavad in here, and I like it. But basically what Gualchavad does is you can, if it's equipped with a Noble Arms, it gets the effect that you can target a Noble Knight monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. And if you do destroy a Noble Arms card you control, which can get you back like Noble Knight Brothers, it can get you back like your copy of Custonin, it can get you back what you need when you need it, essentially. Then I play 1 copy of Noble Knight Ektar. Ektar is really good because you can banish 2 Noble Knight monsters from your graveyard to special summon him from your hand or grave, essentially. It's kind of like a Dragon Ruler-ish effect, if you guys are familiar with those cards. Then I play a single copy of Ignoble Knight of Black Launcelin. I like Black Launcelin as a 1-of. I probably wouldn't play it any more than 1, but I love the artwork, and it lets me go for the Synchro monster, which is why I play this card at 1. Basically what this card does is you can send a face-up light normal monster you control to the graveyard to special summon this card from your hand or graveyard, and then you can tribute a Noble Knight monster to add a Noble Arms card from your deck to your hand, and you can only control 1 copy of him, which is not that big of a deal. Then we play a single copy of Lady of the Lake. Lady of the Lake lets me go for the Ignoble Knight of High Launcelin, so you can use either one of these essentially to go for it. But basically what this card does is it can be used as can't be used as synchro summon except for the synchro summon of a warrior type monster. And if this card is used as a synchro summon, to synchro summon a monster, you banish it. And then when this card is normal summoned, you can target 1 Noble Knight normal monster in your grave and special summon that target. And if this card is in your grave, you can target 1 level 5 or higher Noble Knight monster you control, reduce its level by 1. And if you do, special summon this card from your graveyard. So basically, if you have Ektar or Ignoble Knight of High Launcelin and she's in your grave, you can use her. You can special summon her from the graveyard to be able to synchro summon into the synchro monster. 1 copy of Guinevere. Guinevere you just equip to one of your Noble Knight monsters, and depending on what the typing is, depends on what she does. If she's equipped to a monster that's a light, then if it would be destroyed by a card effect, you destroy this card instead. But if it equips to a dark, then if the monster is going to battle an opponent's monster at the start of damage step, you can destroy that monster and destroy this card, which is really good as well. She also gives the monster 300 attack points as well, which is something to keep in mind. She's essentially a Noble Arms card, which is kind of neat. Then we play 2 copies of Morgan, the Enchantress of Avalon. Morgan's a really good card because what she does is if your opponent, when your opponent activates a card or effect you control while you control a Noble Knight and Noble Arms, you can quick effect send her from your hand to the grave and destroy 1 Noble Arms equip spell. And if you do, negate the activation, which is a really good effect to be able to just negate those card effects on your side of the field, on your opponent's side of the field, which is really nice. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Rhoda. Rhoda really helps out because it searches your entire deck except for Morgan and Lady of the Lake, which is a really good ability to be able to do. Or your copy of Guinevere. You can't search Guinevere either. But all the level 4 warriors that can add to him. 1 copy of Double or Nothing, because you can actually double or nothing your opponent extremely easily in this deck. Because if you do something simple like summon a copy of your Madrot and then special summon something else, you can just go for an XYZ play, which is really, really, really cool. I really like being able to do that, just to be able to pop like a Noble Arms and then OTK my opponent. 3 copies of Heritage of the Chalice. Heritage of the Chalice is a really good spell card. It lets you add a Noble Knight monster or a Noble Arms card from your deck to your or graveyard to your hand. And if a Noble Knight monster equipped with a Noble Arms spell is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, while this card's in your grave, you can add it back to your hand, but you can only use 1 of the effects per turn. Then I play 2 copies of Glory of the Noble Knights. I really wish they would hollow this card out, because then I would have the entire deck like completely hollow. This is like one of the only cards that's not hollowed in the entire deck. Basically what this card does is let you target a Noble Knight monster you control and equip it with a Noble Arms spell from your deck to that monster. It's just as a equip spell, but you can basically, the ones that you're going to be equipping is the Noble Arms, so that's the only ones that you really need to worry about. Then for the swords, or the Noble Arms that we're playing a single copy of Caliburn. Caliburn lets your monster gain 500 attack, and then every one of your standby phases, or every one of your turns that's equipped to a monster, you gain 500 life points. 1 copy of Gallatin. Gallatin is really good because it lets your monster gain 1,000 attack, but every one of your standby phases it loses 200 attack. And then they also all share the ability that if this face-up card on the field is destroyed and sent to the grave, you can target another warrior monster that's a noble knight that you control and equip it to that monster, which is really cool. That they drop the sword and then another one picks it up. One copy of Clarent. Clarent is just a good one-of in my opinion. What Clarent does is once per turn you can pay 500 life points and the equipped monster can attack your opponent directly. And if this face-up card shares the ability where you can, if it's going to be destroyed, you could just put it on another noble knight. One copy of what's his name, Lancelot's sword. Basically, this lets you pop spells or traps by making it lose 500 attack, which is still pretty cool. 2 copies of Destiny. Destiny makes it where once per turn the monster can't be destroyed by card effects, which is really cool. I like that. I really like that because it makes it so it can't be destroyed by card effects or by battle. And then for the last 2, you play 2 copy of Excalibur. Excalibur is really good. What this card does is basically makes it so you can go into your Sacred Noble Knight King, and it also shares the ability that you can equip it to a Noble Knight monster, and it can't be targeted or destroyed, or can't be targeted by your opponent's card effects. And then if it's in the graveyard, then you can target one Noble Knight XYZ monster with a different name, and then you banish this card. And then after you do, you special summon a different Noble Knight XYZ monster from your extra deck, which is pretty cool. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing just 3 until Noble Arms are needed again, and we kind of need them right now. But what this card does is you activate cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of Noble Arms spells that you control, and if you get to add 1 card that you revealed to your hand, and you place the remaining on top of your deck in any order, then you can manage this card from your grave, except the turn it was sent to the graveyard, to special summon from your deck 1 Noble Knight monster with a different name from the cards you currently control. Or in your graveyard, which you play plenty of names, and you play one-ofs in this deck, so it's really easy to do that. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. This card is absolutely insane, and I love... Originally, this card was a common, and then they hollowed it out and made it like parallel secret rare, and it is gorgeous as a parallel secret rare. So let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're just playing 2 copies of Isolde. You really only need the 2 copies of Isolde. Basically, she lets you mill those equip spells to the graveyard and then special summon a warrior from your deck. But when she's also link summoned, you get to add a warrior monster from your deck to your hand. 2 copies of the Sacred Noble Knight of King Artorgus. This is one of the Platinum rares I was talking about. This card, I love the way that the kings look in Platinum rare. I don't know why, I just really do. But basically this card is the big boss monster of the deck. You can, when it's XYZ summon, you can target 3 of your Noble Arms in your graveyard with different names and then equip them to him. And then once per turn, you can detach an XYZ material from this card and then target 1 other monster on the field and destroy it. And if it's into the graveyard, then you can target 1 level 4 or higher Noble Knight monster in your graveyard and special summon that target. So if he's going to get destroyed and he drops all those 3 of those swords, you special summon 1 from the graveyard and equip all 3 of the swords back to him. Then we play 2 copies of Artorgus, the King of the Noble Knights. He kind of shares the same ability, but he doesn't replace himself, and he also has the ability that you can detach a material from him and then destroy any number of spells and traps on the field up to the number of Noble Arm cards that were equipped to him. But something I will mention to you guys, he only has 2 hands. Where is he putting the third sword? Where is he wielding it? Definitely comment down below and tell me how he's going to do that, especially when you get like 4 swords on this card. Is he like doing Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventure on us, or what? Like, is he putting one in his teeth like Zoro from One Piece? Like, how is he wielding all those swords? Definitely comment down below. So then we're going to be playing 2 copies of Sacred Noble Knight of King Custennin. Custennin's a card that you really, really want to summon in this deck. It's a really good card. But basically what this card does is you can detach any number of materials from this card, then target cards your opponent controls, and then return them to the hand depending on the amount of materials that you detached. And then if this card is destroyed by battle or by card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a Noble Knight XYZ from your extra deck, except another copy of himself. And if you do, you get to attach this card from the graveyard to that monster as a material. So it really quickly makes your copy of King Artorgus. So you usually make this card first and then summon the King Artorgus, or you make him later in the game to be able to bring this out, which is another option. Then we play a single copy of the Ignoble Knight of High Launcelin. I just play a single copy of this. It's kind of rare that you summon it, but I really wanted to play it, and it's a really good card when you do actually summon it. But what it does is when it's synchro summon, you can equip a Noble Arms equip spell from your deck immediately this card, and at the end of the battle phase, if this card destroyed a monster by battle and sent it to the graveyard, then you get to add a Noble Knight or Noble Arms from your deck to your hand. So he just keeps getting stronger and stronger, being able to equip more and more of those equip spells to him, which is awesome. Boral Sword to help us OTK. It's very rare that I summon this, but it's here in case you need it. 1 copy of Utopia Double and Utopia because it can help you attack for 10,000 if you want to attack for 10,000. Baguska because he can help you stall out if you need to. Evisworn Exciton Knight because it can blow board if you need to. You'd never summon this card when you have your King Artorigus on the field. And 1 copy of number 60. The number 60 helps out because you can use number 60 to be able to double the attack of a monster or draw 2 and discard 1, which is the usual ones that I use for this card if I summon it. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely tell me what you think of this deck down in the comments down below. It's a super, super fun deck that basically summons King Artorigus, equips him with as many equip spells as possible, and then swings at your opponent. And if there was ever a Protect the King deck before, ironically, it's this one. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell on the screen, comment part notification squad. And definitely check out that Patreon because we have those awesome rewards for you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.